Hello, 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 beautiful people. I am excited to be back with you this week. I missed you last week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But welcome. Welcome to everybody who is here, who is joining me live. Love, love, love that you have all taken the opportunity to join me live. I'm Leah Murphy. For those of you who I have not had the opportunity to meet, Leah C. Murphy is what I have to say because there's so many Leah Murphys. Thanks, mom and dad. I guess, and husband too, because he was a part of that. He was a part of that impact. But so I'm back, excited for those who are joining us live. Please drop your city, as always, in the chat. If you drop your city in the chat, then we have an opportunity to shout you out. I know who is vibing with me. I want to make sure that anybody who is here can also hear me well. It looked like there was a little bit of challenge with the audio up front. So if you're here, even if you don't want to drop your city in the chat, can you give me a thumbs up? You could drop your city and that would solve both problems. Then I would know that you heard me. And then I would also be able to shout you out to know who's where and who's doing what. So help me out and let me know that. So I'm going to get through our standard housekeeping items because you guys know in my own authentic truth, I can go fast. I can start to get on top of the topic and I'm all excited and I forget to take care of the business. So first, I wanted to make sure, as I have been saying for the past couple of weeks, that you all take the opportunity to join my newsletter. The newsletter experience it just keeps getting better and better. My assistant and I and my team have been working on this newsletter over the past couple of weeks. And every time it gets produced, it is getting better and better. And those who are already receiving it have already started to give us such great feedback. We have perspective shifting reads in the newsletter. We also have all updates on things career gems for the journey. We have lots of career gems that we're dropping directly in the newsletter because we want to help you make your journey work for you. We're here to help talented professionals build thriving careers. And that's what we do. So because that's what we do, we want to make sure that you have access to the newsletter and that you can get those gems directly into your inbox. It is very low effort. Once a month, you'll get it in your inbox. It has all kinds of just valuable resources and information. I wish that I had a newsletter similar to this when I was early in my career. It would have changed the game for me, or even midway through my career. We've done all the work and all the thinking as far as what books you should be reading. We'll have recommendations on networking events and conferences that also are, doing dope work and could be fantastic for you. So I want to make sure that we're doing that work for you in the background and you can take advantage of that resource. And all you have to do is join our email list. So you'll head over to gemsforthejourney.org and it gives you a pop-up immediately. Do you want to join our email list? And yes, the answer is yes. So welcome to everybody who is joining us live and shout out to everybody who is listening to this on the replay. The replay is popping. The replay is absolutely popping. Like y'all are getting to that replay as soon as it gets posted. And I love that for you. I also love it for me. I love that this resource continues to be valuable for so many people. And for those who join me live, who take the time out of their busy day to join from whatever time zone you're in, I shout out to you. Shout out to you. You are all the gems. So, okay. So newsletter done. What you guys are also seeing on the screen, Triumph in the Trenches, which is the anthology that I've been talking to you guys about probably for the last month or so. It is so close. Like I can feel it in the atmosphere. It's so close to being here. At the time that I'm recording this, we were getting final logistics done for printing the actual book. So pre-orders and orders are still open on the website. You can grab your copy today. As you think about grabbing your copy, let me just let you know what's included with the copy of the actual book. So first, you get the actual book. It's a hardcover book. Like it's a legit tool that you can keep in your arsenal, share with other people, gift and give copies of it to other people. It is a hard copy book that is on your shelf. It is gorgeous, right? As you see the cover. So the cover is right here. So as you think about getting a quality piece of material, then this book should be on the list. This book will stay on your shelf and it will be a great resource for you in the days to come for your career, and for those who you're connected to. So grab yourself a copy of a hard copy book. That's what you're getting for the price. Number one. Number two, you will also get that hard copy book signed by me. You will have my actual signature in the book. I mean, you're here, right? So I think there is an opportunity for us to connect via the signature, because I still have signed copies of things from my own professional experiences, going to conferences and meeting speakers that were impactful for me, that I was able to, sit in the front row and really feel like I could be absorbed in what they were saying and what they were sharing. And there'll be opportunities for you to do that too. But you will have the first group of signed copies if you sign up now for the pre-order. We still have a few opportunities for the pre-order, so go and grab it now. You can get it from use this QRO. Use this QR code. Use this QR code right on the screen here to take advantage of it, or you can head over to the website at gemsforthejourney.org/triumphs in order to grab a copy of your book. So that's two. So you get the hardcover, you get a signed copy, and then the third thing, and like the most potentially exciting, depending on who you are in this atmosphere, is you will get a 30-minute coaching session with me. You'll get a free 30-minute coaching session with me just for buying a copy of the book. That link for you to schedule will pop up within 24 hours of you making your purchase, and you will be able to sign up for that coaching session. And you and I will be able to talk specifically about your needs or about some key career, life planning, strategy questions that you have. Those 30 minutes are yours, and you will work directly with me, not with a pre-recorded video. We will talk live. So I really want folks to figure out, man, there's so many great resources that come along with the purchase. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this book, I believe, has the potential to literally transform careers and transform perspectives for professionals across the world. There are 20 plus other anthologists who have also contributed to this book. So I am constantly in awe of the other anthologists and their full potential and what they've been able to contribute to this anthology. And I sincerely want it to get in the hands of as many people as possible. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'll start to let you guys know where I'm going to be out and about promoting the book and actually doing live book signings. I would love to be able to invite some of my other anthologists to participate in joining me on LinkedIn Live, and to join me at the book signings. We're all over the US and all over the world. So we're going to try to figure out if we can collaborate to be somewhere in person to do a book signing. So we'll start to make those announcements coming up. So just stay tuned in to LinkedIn Live, and also make sure you take advantage of joining the newsletter, because we'll make all those announcements there, and I just don't want you to miss it. So anthology, check. Hopefully I answered all the questions there. I got a couple questions in the back channel around when the books are going to get delivered. I'm going to get the books here in the next couple of weeks, and then we should be shipping books out. I'm hoping by early April. We're doing a independent self-publishing platform in order to produce this book to get it to you as quickly as possible. So there's some guidelines around the books coming to me getting to sign them, and then the books getting out to you. But just know we are actively working on it as a team. And I hope that by the time we're together again, I'll be able to give you more definitive details on that. But I'm excited that April, we will have books in hand, and then we can start to talk through it. The other part of that is, if you are so inclined, you buy the book. Of course you buy the book. I get it, right? You know that it's an amazing resource. You want to have that in your repertoire. You also want to be able to gift and be a mentor to others and use this as a resource. And if that's the case, once you read the book, then you have an opportunity to join me on LinkedIn Live here on this platform, streaming directly to YouTube, and be a part of the Career Gems for the Journey podcast, because everyone who gives us feedback on the book via email will be entered into a drawing to be a guest on the LinkedIn Live here today, YouTube Live, and the Career Gems for the Journey podcast. Like, so exciting that you'll be able to partner with me to promote the book, and also just talk about your own professional experiences and how we can think about career together. I would love to hear some stories from those who have been joining me live for a while and been putting some of the career gems into practice. I mean, it would literally make my day, like make my day. So many good things coming along with that book. Go ahead and grab your copy today. And I think I covered all the housekeeping, and my assistant will let me know if I missed anything that was critical or important. I checked my list. I'm all good. So I wanted to just let you guys know why I was not here last week. So first, rest is necessary, right? Rest is a part of being successful in all of my definitions. But if I take it a step further, last week I canceled the LinkedIn Live really late, later than I normally would at the last minute, because I had a death in my family, and that death in my family really has rocked my household and my extended family. So in losing my grandmother, my last living grandparent, it really shifted me and put me into a completely different perspective. This is not in any way to ask for folks to be in a down mood. Actually, thinking about losing someone who shaped and molded me into the human being that I am today is sad in one regard, but is very, very empowering in another regard. And I want to just tell you guys a little bit about that. In me living my own authentic truth, I talk a lot about authenticity, I talk a lot about showing up in the dimensions of yourself so that you feel like yourself, right? And you can show up as your full self because yourself is more than enough. In losing my grandmother, her name is Margaret Edwards. And in losing her, it just reminded me of the building blocks of my personality and my identity as a human being. She was such a formidable force in my life. She taught me so much about being a woman. And here we are in March, Women's History Month. It was also the month of her birthday. And just thinking about how fortunate I am to have gone so far into my life with grandparents that were still alive and well and checking on me and checking on my family and praying for me has just reminded me that I have everything that I need in order to be successful, and that God has implanted so many people and things in my life in order to build me on a foundation that allows for me to show up for you all on a consistent basis. So here we are in Women's History Month, in the month of March, coming off of Black History Month because we're Black History year round, but also coming off of Black History Month and really highlighting and taking the time to acknowledge the people who are our foundation in our culture, in our society, who are the parts of American culture. And sometimes their stories don't get told. So thinking about my grandmother, Margaret Edwards, and saying her name and acknowledging that I'm sad that she's gone, but also acknowledging just how impactful she was in my life has given me the last week to reflect on that. And losing her last week really did remind me, one, that, life is precious, it's fragile. Tell the people you love that you love them. Make sure you acknowledge them, spend the time with people that you care about, and let them know the impact that they had on you. And that goes for grandparents, parents, friends, mentors, relationships that kind of transcend any title, right? Any specific name. Tell those people. Make sure you tell them how much they mean to you and make sure they know. And when you do that, know that, the impression and impact that they've had on you will vibrate in you for decades to come. And even though she's not with me in body, she is constantly with me in spirit. So I am just thrilled to be able to say her name in public places and in forums where otherwise she may not have been mentioned, because I loved her and she loved me. And also because she taught me a lot about not playing no games. She grew up in an era and in a time that was very different from the times that we live in. When she passed, she was almost 92 years old. So she had some stories and some experiences and so much wisdom that I got to sit at her feet and listen to and learn. And I just feel fortunate to have had her. So that's my authentic truth for why I wasn't here last week. Not that not that you have to always share what's happening for you in the background, but I wanted to make sure I shared it with this group of listeners and this group of Career Gems for the Journey supporters, because there's always something that's we're working on in the background. You never know what kind of battles people are fighting. So thinking about bringing your full authentic self and experience to more of the workplace and to more of these platforms, I think will allow us to have a certain amount of freedom and flexibility that that wasn't possible in decades before. And I don't want to squander that. I want to take full advantage of having that freedom and flexibility. And I believe that it'll help someone else. It will serve someone else for the greater good. It will give someone else permission to do the same. And when I talk about living your full authentic life and having full authentic experiences in the workplace, what it does is your impact, your influence will go further than your words. So when I think about the level of impact and influence that I can quantify, maybe that looks like one thing. But I think about the amount of influence that I can't quantify, that I have no idea about, that is infinite, right? That's exponential. And by me demonstrating and walking the talk, that gives other people silent permission to do the same, to feel safe, to feel psychologically safe, to show up as their full authentic self. And that's what I'm here for. So if you guys have stayed with me and ridden all the way through to this point, I appreciate you. I am going to get right into the typical content that we are going to cover. We just came out of our series. Our series was focusing on pause the work and go make yourself some professional friends. That series, literally, I haven't even been able to get to all of the questions and comments that came from that series. It was fire. You guys will see the follow-ups to that. That'll be coming. Just audience questions that came as a result of it. And I'm really excited for that. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys coming out of that series is we're in Women's History Month. I had the fantastic opportunity to actually speak at Hinkle Corporation, and Hinkle Corporation's Women's Network brought me into their organization to talk to them about authenticity. So two things. One, literally, I am constantly encouraged and motivated by the work that employee resource groups are doing. Employee resource groups, or ERGs, are inside of organizations doing really thoughtful, comprehensive work and professional development in order to bring great substantive topics to employees, especially those who may not otherwise have the opportunity to be provided professional development. So shout out to Carrie with an I. Carrie with an I at Hinkle, who was fantastic in bringing me into that organization. And shout out to Michelle and Camille, also at Hinkle, who were fantastic hosts for me while I was there. What it reminded me of, and this is why it's so important for me to share it here with you all live, is there is a need consistently for people to be connected to others based on the true center and the core of themselves, based on the most authentic version of themselves. There's just such a hunger to be able to connect with people on a truly human level. And we were able to do that work in person when I was able to travel to their local headquarters in New Jersey. And I am just so rewarded by being able to be back in person, to be able to speak to organizations, because there is a virtual benefit, and I absolutely love being able to connect with organizations virtually. But this opportunity was provided in person, and I am still vibrating high off of the conversations and the one-off dialogue that was able to happen, not just between me and the people who were in the room, but between the other participants who were in the room and each other. So it was this really rich kind of dialogue in a safe space, talking about something tied to, all of us, and the reminder that we need to give ourselves full permission to be our authentic selves in all the facets of our life. And then to take it a step further and say, when I'm my most authentic self, how am I creating space and making space for other people to do the same? So what we talked about in that session was really thinking about practicing amplifying others. And as we're in Women's History Month, I want to talk about amplifying others to you today, because it's something that more people tend to feel comfortable with. When I think about amplifying myself, sometimes I get feedback saying, when you amplify yourself, then you start to feel like it's bragging. Now, we talked about audacity in a previous live, and I would love for you guys to go back and listen to that and take advantage of it. So a lot of times as women, we are conditioned not to amplify ourselves. We are conditioned to be a team player and kind of take our name out of the forefront. And humility is absolutely necessary. I think humility is critical as a life skill, but humility also puts us at risk for not acknowledging the value that we brought to the organization. So I don't want you to be at risk for not getting proper acknowledgement for the value that you're bringing to your organization because no one knows about the work that you're doing, or because you attribute all of your success, all of the value that you bring to the organization to team success or generalized efforts. So it's really important that we think about learning to amplify ourselves in a way that feels authentic, that feels real, that feels good. And the way that I want to encourage folks to do that is to start by amplifying others. So we all know somebody who's doing great work. We all know somebody who is fire, who is, who's really doing the complicated things, or they're doing something that is inspiring other people, or they are solving complex problems. We all know someone, right? And there are lots of ways that we can amplify other people. If you're in the office and you're in an organization, you can amplify people real time in a meeting. I want to pause just before I give my update to share that Leah really transformed the data analysis in the background, and we would not have been able to meet our timeline if Leah wouldn't have been a part of the project. So wanted to shout her out, amplify her work. That is a way to amplify live in a meeting that is completely acceptable and very professional. It gives credit when credit is due. And as you're giving credit when credit is due, now you've created an example of how other people have the potential to show up in that same meeting or in another meeting that you're not a part of. Your influence has now traveled out of that meeting to others. So I want to encourage you to learn how to amplify others. If you are not in any meetings or dialoguing with that person, you can send their manager or the team that they work on, send an email to say, Leah contributed at a really high level to this project. Wouldn't have been able to do it without her. Thank you for allowing them to support the project or partnering. Another way to amplify. The more practice you amplify others, the more practice you consistently do in amplifying others will allow you to get confident and comfortable exercising that muscle. And it will do so many things to the person on the other side. One, it acknowledges them. And as humans, we are all craving a certain amount of acknowledgement, especially when we're doing hard things, especially when we're showing up and we're really killing the game. We want to be acknowledged for that, right? And they can remain humble if someone else is doing the work to acknowledge them. And you often benefit from just being the kind of person who's known for giving credit when credit's due, for being the kind of person who other people want to be on your team or want to collaborate with you because they know that you're not going to pirate their work or steal their ideas, take advantage of their intellectual property. So those are the kind of workplaces where people want to travel to. Those are workplaces that are destinations, workplaces where you give credit when credit's due, you acknowledge people for being great at what they do, and then you do that publicly. Man, learning to amplify others is a way for you to show up authentically and for you to create a positive flywheel in the day-to-day work experience for your peers, for your coworkers, for your co-collaborators, for your cross-functional partners, you name it. So as we're in Women's History Month, I'd like to encourage us all to take on this challenge. As we go into our next meeting, email series, posting on social media is another way to amplify others. As we go into this month, think about someone else, think about a woman that you can amplify. Think about a woman that you can give a shout out or give a significant acknowledgement because they've actually added value and you know that they've been valuable, and push yourself a little bit further to actually do the work to amplify them, whether it's in writing, via email, via social media post, via some kind of acknowledgement, or whether it's live in person in front of an audience of other people or directly in a meeting. That's the challenge for this month. I want to challenge everyone to pick a woman, that you want to be able to amplify, that you want to take into this month and use your influence, use your social capital in order to amplify someone else. If you take this challenge and you post about it on LinkedIn, please shout me out, tag me. This is the We Amplify Challenge. So we're going to do the Career Gems for the Journey Amplify Challenge, and we're going to push ourselves to talk about the work and capabilities of other talented women that we're connected to, because I believe those kinds of amplifications can create a culture that serves kind of what the higher purpose of social media and all these platforms are. It is to connect with people across the sound waves and airwaves and across the internet. And then also in your workplace to create a culture that is healthy, that allows people to show up as their authentic self, that creates an environment of psychological safety where people feel like not only can they be their authentic self, but they can bring the value to the organization. They can bring all their competencies and skills because they're going to get acknowledged for it. So we're going to talk about the acknowledgement side of it in this go round. And then the next time we're together, next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to talk about the compensation side of it. So right now we're focused. We're here at March 5th at the time of this recording. We're focusing on you doing your homework, and I'm going to do the same. As many of you have seen, I already posted on LinkedIn and I tagged the talented Tracy Walker, Dr. Tracy Walker, in a series that she started, Read to Lead. And simply for the desire to amplify her work, that Read to Lead series is something that I think is valuable to folks who are on the platform on LinkedIn. And I want more people to know about it. And I want Dr. Tracy Walker to get the shine for it because I want to amplify her work. So that's a great example of going out of your way to amplify other people. I will continue to do that on this platform and on others. And I want to make sure that you take advantage and take the challenge to amplify a woman's work that you find to be adding value in your organization, on the social media platforms, in your professional organizations, anywhere you're collaborating. So starting today, take the time, think about at least once a week, people that you can amplify, women that you can amplify, and go ahead and take the extra step and do the work to amplify them for being just who they are and for adding the tremendous value that I know they're adding in the background. So that is all for today. We will be back together next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and we're working for you to help to make your journey work for you. When you amplify others, that also shines a halo effect to you and to the work that you're doing. And if we're all doing the work to make sure that we amplify and we exercise that muscle, just imagine what that's going to look like when we can then shine that light on ourselves or on causes and organizations that we think are really valuable. So this has been amazing. I really do appreciate you all joining me here today. I'll be back next Tuesday. And when we are back together, we'll talk about the compensation side. You guys know I love talking about compensation. And what better time than Women's History Month to remind us about the tools that are at our disposal and also the challenges and opportunities that we are going to continue to work against because the cause is so great and it's worth our effort and energy. So it's been amazing being with you all today. I look forward to seeing you on next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, take good care of yourself, make your journey work for you, and I'll see you then.